Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McGonigal. Shannon Newth anchored our morning coverage. Montana is reporting just 2 new coronavirus cases tonight. The total standing now at 444. Governor Steve Bullock says as Montana moves into the first phase of his reopening plan, people and businesses will still have to take responsibility to help slow the spread of COVID-19. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on what he said ahead of this week's loosening of statewide restrictions.
Governor Steve Bullock says Montana's early actions to flatten the curve of coronavirus cases have now brought the state to a point where they can begin to relax some of the restrictions. But before the start of Phase 1 reopening this weekend, Bullock said people will still need to take actions to maintain that progress.
I'd like to reiterate how important it is that Montanans continue to go to great lengths to protect themselves and one another in these coming weeks.
Bullock said fewer than a dozen new cases have been confirmed in Montana this week. He also introduced Dr. Mark Mentel, president of the Montana Medical Association, who said Montana is not out of the woods, but that a phased reopening was the most realistic way to move forward. Bullock said the steps people take now will determine the success of the reopening plan.
There is no expiration date for this phase. The virus still is in Montana. It will be with us for some time. That means that we may be in Phase 1 also for a long time. And in large part, when we get out of this phase relies on the individual actions and personal responsibility of Montanans.
The start of Phase 1 reopening will come on Sunday, and Bullock says leaders will be closely watching after that to see if the curve remains flat. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Lewis and Clark County Health says the county will adopt the governor's directive. They will begin lifting restrictions aimed at preventing the spread of COVID-19. They'll also encourage businesses to develop written plans to make sure they offer a safe environment to customers and employees. Only 16 cases of the virus have been confirmed in the county so far. That's fewer than all but 2 of the state's 7 most populated counties. No cases have been confirmed since April 9th. The health department has the authority to reinstate restrictions if there is a need. Here's a reminder of things you can do to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 as businesses start to reopen. Continue to practice social distancing, practice good hygiene, use appropriate face coverings in public. For now, public and private developed campgrounds will remain closed until May 31st. Well, as the weather warms up, we're reminded that summer isn't far away, and that means annual summer events are too, or are they? With Montana's reopening starting next week, many event planners are unsure whether events will resume as normal. We reached out to the Great Falls Farmers Market's manager to see whether the market will be setting up shop on the streets this summer. The Farmers Market Board will meet next week to decide future timelines and let the community know accordingly. They said their opening plans will depend on when the state falls into Phase 3 of the governor's phased reopening plan for Montana. Well, many schools are finding creative ways to keep their students and staff connected, and on Friday, Great Falls Central Catholic High School held an event that allowed some FaceTime between teachers and kids and also helped the community. Central staff lined up in front of the school, cheering while students and their families dropped off non-perishable items in a drive-through food drive. In total, over 1,000 pounds of food was collected and donated to the food pantry at St. Vincent de Paul.
And we had such a great turnout, and the kids just keep coming and bringing food and seeing the teachers they haven't seen. And for us, it just makes it possible for us to keep going. I just can't be prouder to be part of this.
Tarosky also had a chance to deliver some good news to students. Central plans to host a graduation in June and is looking at rescheduling prom for the end of summer. Well, voters around Lewis and Clark County have received their ballots for next month's school and special district elections. The Lewis and Clark County Elections Office mailed ballots to voters in the Helena and Canyon Creek school districts, as well as some fire and water districts. They must be turned in by 8 p.m. on May 5th. You can drop those ballots off at the county elections office, where officials have set up an outdoor table to collect them. If you mail your ballot in, election officials recommend getting it in the mail at least a week before May 5th and putting on one first-class stamp. Ballots for the June 2nd state primary are also being mailed out because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Those will go out starting May 8th. The county will prepay the postage for that election. One Great Falls woman is still amazed she was able to escape an apartment fire earlier this week, a feat that wouldn't have been possible if not for the heroism of her next-door neighbor. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt met up with the tenant and her real-life hero.
You see them day to day and pass them in the hall, but rarely do you rely on your neighbor to risk it all.
I call him a hero. I've told everybody that, all my neighbors, he's a hero.
74-year-old Helen Carlisle was at home in bed when her apartment building caught fire.
I was in bed sound asleep, and I must have been laying on my good ear because I never heard the fire alarm.
Her neighbor Kyle Ramone did.
I took a breath to decompress, and then I was like, oh my God, Helen.
And in minutes, he was knocking down her window with theatrical flair.
I see him coming through my window, feet first, and all I can think of is just like Chuck Norris.
He was able to help her escape through that same window.
He got in and put the chair over under the window so I could climb up on it.
But she still thinks about what could have happened if he wasn't there to save her.
I would have slept through it. I would have slept right, I would have died.
For Kyle, saving Helen wasn't even a question.
It was the only thing on my mind at that point was like, where's Helen? She's the most helpful neighbor. She's done so much for me. Like we didn't have laundry money when we moved in here at one point. She borrowed us that, and then I got a really good job, and I got a promotion, and got her back, and we always just look out for each other.
Because a neighbor in need is a neighbor indeed.
It's the first time in my life I've ever been, literally had my life saved by other people. And it really lets you know that people still care.
In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Great Falls Fire Rescue said the fire was accidental due to overheated oil on a stove. Of the 4 residents sent to the hospital, 3 have been released. 1 is still in critical condition. Well, for the second day in a row, our Storm Tracker weather team is tracking showers and even a few thunderstorms across the area. Brandon Michaels joins us now. And Brandon, between the showers, we've actually seen quite a bit of sunshine.
Yeah, definitely more sunshine than yesterday. Hasn't been too bad of a day overall. Of course, now we have seen a little bit more cloud cover roll in. A little bit gloomier than it was looking earlier in the day here in Helena, but still a little bit of sunshine shining through. Temperature's pretty comfortable. It's 59 degrees in Helena right now, so just shy of that 60-degree mark. Pretty close to average for this time. If you're taking a look at the U.S. Bank iCam, actually a little bit of haze in the background there, but we've seen plenty of sunshine in Great Falls through the day as well. Again, a pretty comfortable temperature, also sitting at 59 degrees, so that's not too bad. We still do, though, have some areas of showers across the area. Most of that is moving away from Helena. You can see the clouds kind of moving into the capital city now. It's mainly northeastern Montana that's got the showers currently, and that's where we've seen most of the shower activity through the day. We turn on Lightning Tracker, actually had a couple little thunderstorms develop there with the potential for some gusty winds, some stronger downpours, and even some half-inch hail in that area. But in general, that is clearing up tonight, and we're going to continue to clear up as we head into the weekend, and we'll have more on that weekend forecast after the break.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Today is National Teach Your Children to Save Day, and Stockman Bank is offering a free lesson on Facebook. Each year, bank employees visit Montana classrooms to give a lesson on savings. It's designed to help them develop the skills they need to make smart financial decisions as adults. With circumstances being different now, a pair of employees at the bank branch in Conrad created an online video for students.
And so that's why we've always been so proactive to try to teach our community that those options are out there, and then to show them our bank.
For more details, you can check out our website. Will a pandemic impact fire season in Montana? Wildland experts weigh in when the news continues.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Welcome back. Today is Arbor Day. Montana's forests affect just about everyone in the state, either through recreation or wildfires. It's been a decade since the peak of the mountain pine beetle infestation that left millions of acres of Montana's forests with dead and dying trees. Sharon Scott with the U.S. Forest Service says pine beetles have really diminished in recent years, back to only affecting small groups of trees at a time. The Helena, Lewis and Clark National Forest has around a 60% mortality rate, but the forest is starting to regenerate.
Now we're getting a fair amount of regeneration that's coming up through that deadfall. And so what lodgepole pine needs to regenerate is they have serotinous cones, and those cones open when you get heat. And so because of the sunlight and the open forest floor and the intensity of all those downfall trees, we're actually beginning to see regeneration.
And another way for those cones to spread their seeds is through fire. More than 80% of the forests in the state are considered especially vulnerable to fire. But what does wildland firefighting look like during a global pandemic? MTN's John Riley spoke with fire officials about what Montana should expect.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Montana DNRC has been working to bring on seasonal workers early this year to account for quarantine and other health precautions.
Our focus right now is very much on bringing our workforce on healthy and keeping them healthy once they get here.
The DNRC are also working on developing new policies for fire camps and crews to limit person-to-person contact and figure out which administrative roles can be done from home rather than in the field. Montana has already seen a couple wildland fires that in-state resources were able to handle. However, larger fires almost always require the aid from crews and resources located out of state and internationally. DNRC says the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly complicated large-scale mobilizations.
We're anticipating that outside resources might not be as available as they've been in the past. And so we're very much focused on succeeding on initial attack, keeping fires small, trying to avoid the need to bring resources in from outside.
With Montana needing to rely on local resources, DNRC says more than ever people need to take the utmost caution when using fire. It's only April, and there's a lot of fire season left. Reporting from Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Over 60% of homes in the state fall in a high wildfire risk interface. People are encouraged to use this time to make sure their home and property is fire safe. Steps like raking dead needles and creating a defensible space go a long way to help protect their property.
Well, looking ahead to the weekend, we're tracking some mild temperatures, good amount of sunshine too, so some good news in the forecast, and we'll talk more about that.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Brandon Michaels.
Still some showers on the Doppler network this evening, but we are tracking kind of a clearing trend. Still a little bit of cloud cover building into the west, but in general, you get a little bit east of that cloud cover. You've got a little clearing area here from about Cut Bank down to Great Falls to Havre, a little bit more cloud cover down toward the capital city, and still tracking some lingering moisture off to the east, but we're not going to be tracking that moisture for all that much longer through the evening hours. Here's midnight, and I really don't think anybody's going to be dealing with too much in the way of rain at that point, at least not in our area. Maybe south of Helena getting into a couple of showers, but in general, mostly clear skies expected through the night tonight. So not a bad night, not a bad day tomorrow either. We're going to start off beautiful sunshine pretty much all across the state for tomorrow, even into the early afternoon hours. I think almost everybody is sunny, but you do start to see that cloud cover creeping in from the west, and eventually that's going to arrive. So places like Helena going to arrive a little bit sooner. Same with Cut Bank, Great Falls. By the time we get to the mid to late afternoon, we're likely going to be seeing cloudy skies, but places like Havre and Lewistown, especially areas east of that, are actually going to be mostly sunny through almost the entire day tomorrow. Future track does bring in a couple showers into the evening hours. I do think that's mostly going to be in the higher terrain. I think most of us aren't going to see anything in the way of showers. Probably some cloud cover or even some fog as we head into Sunday morning, but then a clearing trend through the day. So more sunshine for Sunday. A good amount of sunshine really through the forecast this weekend. And the temperatures are going to be pretty comfortable too. 58 right now in Jordan, 55 in Glasgow, and also Lewistown, Great Falls and Helena both coming in at 59 degrees. Tonight's low temperatures, not too bad. Almost all of us stay at or above freezing. 32 for both Great Falls and Lewistown, 34 in Glasgow, 32 in Butte, and 36 degrees for the overnight low in Helena. Highs tomorrow, definitely warmer than they were today. 71 in Jordan, 68 for Glasgow and Havre, and then 66 for both Great Falls and also for the high temperature in Helena. And for Sunday, temperatures really don't look all that much different. Sunday's highs right now, very, very similar. 69 for Glasgow compared to 68, 72 for Jordan, 64 in Lewistown, and then mid-60s for Helena and Great Falls. A little bit cooler off to the north, 60 degrees for the high temperature temperature in Cutbank, which is still not too bad for this time of year. As far as winds are concerned, not terrible tomorrow, probably in that 10 to 20 mile per hour range, but I do expect those winds to pick up a bit as we head into the day on Sunday. Probably in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range, and potentially some spots along the Rocky Mountain front a little bit higher than that, especially early in the day on Sunday. So a nice warm up for Saturday. We showed you this yesterday. This shape right here, that's a nice ridge building in. We associate that with generally nice warm weather, but I want to jump ahead to later into the week because we're really going to be seeing a big ridge building in, and that's going to bring in some very warm temperatures to the forecast. You can see that warm air is sitting right on top of the state of Montana, and that brings good news to the temperatures. So let's go through the 7-day forecast right now. Again, mostly sunny, but an increase in clouds later in the day for our Saturday. Decrease in clouds, for our Sunday. Mostly cloudy Monday, partly cloudy, but more sunshine on Tuesday. And then that temperature really jumps up as that big ridge builds in. 72 degrees, the high temperature on Wednesday. A couple chances for showers and thunderstorms Thursday. But in general, a mild stretch of weather, highs in the 60s and 70s. For the next 7 days, same story in Helena. A little bit more cloud cover tomorrow for Helena. You're going to get into that cloud cover a little bit earlier, but we do clear out by Sunday afternoon, getting breezy, but mostly cloudy on Monday, and then again 70s in the forecast Wednesday and on Thursday. Tim?
Thanks, Brandon. And coming up, a Montanan with a major league connection opens up about the struggles of being stuck in the dugouts during the coronavirus pandemic.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates were supposed to be hosting the LA Dodgers for a 3-game series this weekend, but instead there hasn't been any baseball since spring training due to the pandemic. MTN's Isaiah Dunk talked with Pirates bullpen coach and Great Falls native Justin Message about what it's like to work in the MLB right now.
What do baseball teams do when it's baseball season and you can't play? Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen coach and Great Falls native Justin Message is at home in Florida, making sure his kids get their schoolwork done and playing baseball with them. After that, he's on Zoom meetings constantly, checking on the health of the Pirates players and their families, and making sure new guys on the team are feeling welcome.
We're also trying to use this time as an opportunity to help our players get a little bit better and maximize this crazy time that you normally wouldn't have to be able to build on something maybe you started on spring training, or maybe you held off on something in spring training that you kind of want to attack now, whether that be from maybe a delivery standpoint or a pitch development standpoint.
But the most challenging part for Message and everyone involved in MLB is the general uncertainty of the times.
That's just the million-dollar question right now of when our country's able to get going again, and we're able to get going after that. And really, when you're trying to build up pitchers, you really have an end goal in mind, and we don't have that right now. And in the off season, you always know that spring training starting this day, and then you know that opening day is this day, so you build up accordingly. Unfortunately, in this off season or in this coronavirus time, we don't have that, so it's we're just playing a guessing game.
In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
Well, construction continues as scheduled in East Helena, where the new high school will be set to open this fall. While crews continue to work inside the building, outside facilities are also beginning to take form. The Vigilantes track, football field, and softball complex continue to progress, with the centerpiece being the new scoreboard and video board in the north end zone. East Helena Activities Director Sean Mergel says it's impressive to see the changes from week to week.
The last couple weeks has been really good to see all the progress inside and outside. As you can see, our scoreboard's up. They're working on our softball dugouts. That's our discus rink out there. The fields are coming along very nice. They're going to start putting the turf in, I believe, next month. On the inside of the building, the painting's going really good. Our gym's looking really good. And you can see that they painted up some vigilantes, and there's a welcome to our house sign put up in there. But everything's coming along really nice.
And to see more of the latest updates at East Helena High School, check out the full video at montanasports.com. We'll be right back with the final check of weather.
Welcome back. We are still tracking some showers tonight, but in general, the trend through the night tonight is for the skies to clear out. We're looking at low temperatures in the low to mid 30s for tomorrow, warmer than today. Mid 60s for most of us. Good amount of sunshine with clouds increasing from west to east through the afternoon.
Well, one Great Falls woman is celebrating her 77th birthday today. Anita Jensen opened up her window.
Mom has been pretty sick.
Had a surprise of many faces from her family to greet her on her big day. The idea all started because of the social distancing put into place by her family. They wanted to still be there to support her. Cindy Clark is Anita's daughter. She says they're all just happy about her health and that she's in good spirits.
And the day after Christmas, we weren't even sure that, she was going to make it. So the last 4 months have been a big struggle. And my sister and my nephew have kind of truly nursed her back to health, and so today was just a super special day for all of us.
All right, so beautiful day, a lot to be thankful for. She's got her health and obviously a great family as well.
Yeah, I really like those cutouts too.
Yeah.
That was very creative.
All right, so happy birthday. And that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.